Welcome back, welcome back. Well, of course, this is Oscar weekend, again, the annual event that goes right around the world to our viewers in all parts of the world. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly is the film we're focusing on from the Oscars. It's the memoir of Jean-Dominique, the editor of French Elle magazine, who at the age of 43 suffered a severe stroke that left him completely paralysed, only able to communicate with the world through the blink of one eye. The book took about 200,000 blinks to write, a fact that makes us wonder how many it took to adapt it to the big screen. The award-winning screenwriter Ronald Harwood took on the challenge and transformed the Diving Bell and the Butterfly into one of the hot tips for this year's Oscars. And we're going to see a clip from that film now, but Ronnie's here. Can you just explain, we hear in the clip the voice, but in fact that's the inner voice which no one else can hear. Is that right?
Exactly. Most of the film is told from his point of view. The camera is him. You don't see him until you see him in a mirror or in reflection. So you don't see this terrible state that he's in. He hears his own voice and we hear his own voice. But people in reality can't hear him. He can't speak. And a physiotherapist invented an alphabet with the most frequently used letters first. She'd say it, and he'd blink after a letter. Finally, he made a word, then a sentence, then a whole book. And the words you hear are his inner thoughts and his dictation to her through blinking. But we've obviously had to make it lyrical. You couldn't do it. It would be very tiresome to hear it one letter at a time. Yes. So when you hear his voice, it's his inner world being expressed.
Right. Let's take a look now. A clip from the movie.
Je me fais souvent conduire à l'endroit que j'ai surnommé Cinecittà, une terrasse perpétuellement déserte, donnant sur un paysage dont il émane le charme poétique et décalé des décors de cinéma. Au pied des dunes, quelques baraques donnent l'illusion d'un village fantôme du Far West. J'aime voir les faubourgs de Berck. Ils ont l'air d'une maquette pour train électrique. Quant à la mer, son écume est si blanche qu'elle paraît sortir du rayon des effets spéciaux. Mais ce que je préfère, c'est le phare, élancé, robuste et rassurant, avec sa livrée à rayures rouges et blanches.
Well, there it is. Now, that was 200,000 blinks we were reading.
I didn't know that until I heard you say it.
We can reveal.
We can reveal.
How long did it take for him to write or dictate or blink the book?
About 10 months. He did it for 4 hours a day, which is exhausting. But he had one advantage over ordinary writers, is that after he'd done the session, the blinking session, he couldn't do anything else. I mean, most of us write. I write in the morning and I go out and have lunch, or talk to my wife even. Rare, but I do. And then have a sleep or whatever I do. He had nothing else to do but think about what he was going to do the next day. So he prepared very carefully. And I think the person who took the dictation, this young woman he found, called Claude Mondeville, I think she became very expert at guessing the word that he wanted, so that it was quicker than we would ordinarily, than one perhaps would imagine.
Yes, so that in 4 hours, how many words would he do?
Oh, I can't do it. I never thought of it. I've never thought about the struggle. All I did, I lay on a bed once and tried and got somebody to say the alphabet to me slowly and tried to blink. And I could only do one word, and then I got so frustrated and irritated. So I really, it is an amazing feat, exactly what he did.
Incredible. And obviously you won a BAFTA nearly 2 weeks ago in Britain.
I did.
And will you be particularly tense when you're waiting on Sunday night?
I think the old English phrase was no swanks, but I've been nominated twice before, so I know the game. The first time I went over was for the dress. I didn't win. And it was rather a non-event. Then I went over for the pianist 3 or 4 years ago, and I did win, and that was lovely. It's much nicer to win than not to win.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm determined to enjoy myself. My wife and I are going over on Friday, and we hope we'll have a lovely time.
Was it particularly tough, I mean, working out what bits of the book you actually retained and what you didn't? I mean...
That wasn't the hard bit. The hard bit was the breakthrough. My eureka moment was deciding that it should be told from the camera's point of view. And I didn't know if that had ever been done before. I just took a shot in the... a leap in the dark. And once I'd got that idea, I was very stuck for about 3 weeks. Then I made the breakthrough. Then it wasn't so difficult because I don't know, I could just select from his book and select the images I liked, and then the director enhanced those when he came to film it.
And the director is a unique character too, isn't he?
He's an amazing man called Julian Schnabel. He's an artist. He's best known as an artist, a painter. And he's made 2 other films, and this was his 3rd. And he has a great gift with imagery and finding expression, visual expression, which I'm not so good at. I'm quite good at telling the story, but he enhanced it. He did a very good job.
Recently and so on, a lot of your work has been connected with either World War II or your Jewish inheritance.
Exactly.
Has that become more important to you?
Yes, it becomes more important as you get older. I think I've got a new play, well, it's just opened, which is about a traitor, a true story, John Amory, who was hanged for treason. He was the son of a...
Was he Lord Haw-Haw?
No, he was similar. Yeah. He was the son of Leo Amory, who was a cabinet minister in Churchill's government during the war. And this boy was a very disturbed boy, broadcast anti-Semitic and pro-Nazi propaganda from Germany. And I've just written a play about him called An English Tragedy. And so it obsesses me. And another play coming out later this year about Richard Strauss and Stefan Zweig, it's called Collaboration, about the Nazis stopping an opera they wrote being done because Zweig was a Jew. It just obsessed. I was born in '34, David, so the war dominated my childhood and the Holocaust my adolescence. So it's just been one of those obsessions.
And which is tougher, adapting a screenplay from an existing work or starting from scratch? Starting from scratch.
You know, you've got a guy does a terrific job on his book. At least you know he's gone through it. You know it's trusted. They've bought the rights. You know there's something there. When you start on your own, you don't know where you're going. You just, it's a real leap in the dark. That is. But it's wonderful. I love doing it. I love doing both things.
Well, bon voyage to Hollywood.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Time now for one of our regular looks at a behind-the-scenes character who's likely to have a significant influence on the 2008 election in the USA. And our chosen subject is not one person, but 796. They are the superdelegates to the Democratic Convention in August, who will hold about 1/5 of the total votes and are quite likely, if there's a deadlock, i.e. no one's got the required number of votes, if there's a deadlock, to hold the balance of power between Hillary and Barack. Some of the superdelegates are real party bigwigs, ex-presidents like Jimmy Carter, senators like Teddy Kennedy, or state governors like Bill Richardson. But others are a tad more obscure. Sandy Opsfeld is a union organizer in Iowa. Heather Miser is a member of Maryland State Assembly, while Faga Langkilder, that's Faga Langkilder, is president of a TV station on American Samoa. So, when the Democratic Party convenes in Denver at the end of August, if the voters of Texas, Ohio, and Pennsylvania haven't chosen the candidate, given the candidate a sufficient number of votes, it might all be down to Sandy, Heather, and Faga. More kind of democracy stuff after this break.